Pearl. The
Oh,
pearls
Pearl.
are fighting. This is I had a lot of fun writing that in the doc last night. So, or 2 nights ago. So, Pearl Davis, H. Pearl Davis, aka Just Pearly Things, really she does these Twitter sprees that feel manic to me.
I totally agree.
Don't you think? Like, it feels like someone who's having an episode because
Right.
and I don't know if she has to whip herself up into a frenzy to do it,
Mhm.
or if because it does feel a little bit like she knows she needs to put output out, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's a little bit of it. Keep this in mind. Pearl recently said that she wouldn't even be successful on YouTube if her dad wasn't helping do everything for her,
Yeah, that's wild.
which I thought was a very interesting statement because you would think Pearl's dad is not involved at all. Like, he's just a guy that he's just a businessman, a conservative man. Like, he did software stuff, but I wouldn't have imagined in a million years that he had sort of nudged her towards the manosphere as
Mm-mm.
a topic of study, right?
No, maybe funded her
So,
little studio setup, but beyond that, no.
but now I think he does have her on a little bit of a Kanye's workout plan with, like, her channel where she will, like, just, like, she'll really rail on a shit ton of tweets, and I think that this little outburst she had could have potentially been because a big video about her called The Tragic Tale of Just Pearly Things, The Unpickable Pygmy by Jay Aubrey had come out. Now,
Great.
I know that it feels like a lot to say that that's the reason why Pearl had this meltdown, but this is the kind of thing that, like, Pearl, I think, wrestles with as someone who is not I don't think she's comfortable in the manosphere, and it made me wonder, do you remember when we talked about her being on H3?
Oh yeah, and her little camisole.
And how she said that, she was, like, at one point, she was talking to someone on text and, like, reading points back, and I'm like, was it her fucking dad helping her debate?
Mm.
Okay. So, there was a Twitter guy that I know of, Zuby. I know of him because he's, like, a big anti-vax guy. Like, when you see your friends replying to this person, it may or may not be a sign of, like,
Mm.
something,
Mhm.
right? Okay? So, he tweeted, "A lot of people in the modern West have a tainted view on marriage, and I understand why, but I don't share it. It's certainly a minefield, but people who vet properly and take it seriously still tend to have happy, successful marriages, but many don't vet nor take it seriously." So then Pearl responds, "My parents have been married for 25 years, met each other at 18 and 23, married at 22 and 27, 10 kids, a multi-million dollar business. Works out for some people, blonde shrug, blonde shrug." And then she has, like, her hideous family down, like, attached, 2 pictures attached, okay?
I didn't realize there were 10 kids.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. And, like, TBD on, like, there's 2 of them that are adopted, I think,
Okay.
but, like, I think they're in family adoption. I don't know, but, like, there's a lot of adoption lore with Pearl. So, okay. No, I think just their youngest daughter's adopted, because remember Pearl's mom said that, like, when like, someone said, "Your child's beautiful," and she was like, "Thanks, she's adopted."
Oh,
And she was just assuming that
okay.
they must have meant the adopted one. Okay. So, Pearl writes, someone had quote tweeted this exchange and wrote, "What changed in a year? Why are you blackpilling your audience on marriage so hard?" And she goes, "I'll actually answer this. You may think it's radical, but once you actually dig into the family court system, it changes your POV. Interviewing hundreds of people, over 700 people logged, also changes your POV. One successful marriage from a different time before social media does not change the fact that the system is absolutely against men. Once you see it, you can't unsee it." Okay.
Mhm.
So then Pearl's, like, putting up these things where she's just like, "Oh, and you know what? Actually, maybe Steven Crowder, when he was trying to make his pregnant wife, his 8-month pregnant wife with twins, feed the dog toxic dog food with her bare hands and not letting her go to the grocery store, maybe he's just tired of her jumping to accusing him of abuse." and she includes like a little minute long of their therapy session, which I'm sorry. Like, this therapist is fucked and he's fucked. And like, I don't even need to know the whole story. Like, they shouldn't even be in therapy.
Mm-mm.
Like, that's a person you can't talk to anymore.
Mm-mm.
So she's like putting that out there. And then Pearl gets shut down about the marriage thing by Matt Walsh.
He wrote 6 kids and married for over a decade. Pretty sure I understand marriage and family life a lot better than you, Pearl.
And okay, so then Pearl is like on fire when she sees this. Okay. And then all of a sudden, Jordan Peterson throws his hat in the ring, which is like, whoa. Because that's like hot action for Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's bad enough that, like, you know what I mean? Or it's like hot enough that she's like on Piers, you know what I mean? Like, where she's getting that sort of attention. But like for Jordan Peterson to dunk on Pearl is like kind of crazy. And like in so many ways, this like little night that she had with just these like sort of again manic feeling tweets. I do think there is a method in the mayhem though. Did you notice that she tweets anytime she posts something from her store, she posts it twice in a row?
Oh.
I wonder if there's like a reason for that. Like if they
Right.
hit different feeds.
Right. Probably.
Should we start trying that? A/B testing our tweets. So, yeah, Pearl's now on this thing where she's posting Matt Walsh's tweet with the 6 kids and married for over a decade, okay? And then over the like, she's putting that in the as an image, and then she writes above it, "The issue you're also going to get with tradcons is they are typically above average in some way. They live in a different reality. Tall, wealthy men, successful, are better able to recover after a divorce. The average man, the truck drivers, the construction workers, the plumbers that are financially ruined and contemplate suicide. Men are 8 times more likely to commit suicide after divorce. So you get these rich men encouraging men to sign up for marriage without warning them of any of the risks. They have spent little to no time listening to what these men have gone through, and their solution is to just pick a good woman. They have no idea how much a woman changes during a divorce, and typically there's nothing the man could have done." So this pisses off El Jefe,
Oh.
Alissa Walsh, Matt Walsh's
Please let me read
wife.
this.
Yeah, please.
I feel excited in my bones. So Matt Walsh's wife, Alissa, responds, "I shouldn't even respond to you because you're just a grifter, Pearly Things. But I will one more time. You're so full of it. You're doing a disservice to conservatives and will likely find yourself a spinster with the negative outlook on marriage that you're spewing. You have no idea who we are. You make assumptions because you see successful men expressing the positives about getting married and having a family. I think a part of your issue is that they are men and not women promoting marriage, and that doesn't sit well with you for a plethora of reasons about your own upbringing and outlook that I could sit around and psychoanalyze all day. Do you think that when Matt and I got married, we had money? Do you think Matt was wealthy at 25 and thinking, wow, I have so much money, I don't care if I get married young and divorce at some point because I can bankroll a divorce? Do you think only now, 12 years in, at this juncture of his career, he's decided to be pro-marriage? You would be wrong on all accounts. He and other conservative men aren't selling people on lies regarding marriage. They are a beacon of encouragement in this dumpster fire of a culture that promotes self. God forbid he shows the joys of marriage. Even then, Matt isn't forcing anyone to get married. Promoting marriage is not a form of assisted suicide. Stop insinuating as much by throwing shade and posting stats, all as a means to get views and clicks." Rare Alissa Walsh W, I would say.
I mean, honestly, the thing is I had to keep checking myself throughout this because I loved watching her get dragged so much
Mm-hmm.
because I am a hater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a hater of Pearl. Like, I wish I hated more of the people that are fun to hate. She's just like, it's just like she's a black hole of an individual, and to see her get dunked on this fucking hard. And like, I like responded to her at one point because like there was this one guy basically being like, "Pearl, like you offer some good talking points and like you make good manosphere content, but like at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, like Matt Walsh offers better advice for young men than you do." And I like wrote to her, I was like, "Pearl," like she like quote retweeted him and was like, "Agree or disagree, like a woman's gonna stay with a rich man rather than a poor man." And I like wrote back to her and I was like, "Pearl, like, this man just told you, like, this is customer feedback
Mm-hmm.
about you, like, you and where you sit in the manosphere. Like, you're a good way to pass the time, which I would just take so personally. If someone literally had said that to me, I would think I'd be in my body enough to say, like, "Whoa, actually, I need to, like, take a second and, like, step back." Because something about my approach or how I've marketed myself within this industry, she does. She, like,
Mm-hmm.
literally says she's disposable.
Mm-hmm.
And so where's that for career longevity? So, yeah, Pearl, like, does this weird role play therapy session with her own father. I think that we should just start this and then we can shut it off whenever we both get equally weirded out.
Okay.
Whoever gets it's gonna be a try not to get weirded out
This
challenge.
feels very Two Girls, One Cup, very vintage internet in some ways.
Yeah, I know. I wish we could film ourselves doing this. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Let's do this.
All right, Blessing, I'm in therapy again today. They said I need therapy, so I just decided that you're my guy, therapist.
All right. I'm expensive, guys.
So today, Twitter, I'm being emotionally abused again.
Oh, okay.
I have been abused emotionally, coercively controlled.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, they could have at least said hello first. You know what I mean? Hi, hello, how are you? But it's like, you're a grifter and a fraud. And I just get so confused because I just thought I was tweeting my opinions. But they just. Okay, yeah. So then, okay, I want to use an analogy for this one.
Okay.
So imagine you get into a car.
Yep.
And this car has a 75% chance of crashing. You say, hey, you might want to wear your seatbelt. Or maybe don't drive in the car, or maybe hold off and like become an expert driver before you get in the car.
Yeah.
But then they're like, well, Pearl, you're not a race car driver. I was like, damn it.
So,
I think I'm starting to reach my breaking point a little bit, actually.
Yeah. So that's her dad. She like goes into her dad's office. She filmed three videos that day. There was one where she basically played about the majority of the videos. Unique material was a large clip of a video that Dave Portnoy himself had already posted
Mm-hmm.
to Twitter days earlier. But then like she is trying to talk about how like media censorship, whatever. And then she swings it to, and it's just like, it's like Russell Brand right now. And like she really is, someone is setting, like, I, my friend, I will not name them. If my friend wants to name themselves after the fact on Twitter, we'll be open about it. But listen, I had a friend reach out to me and say, do you think that Pearl is on a lot of Xanax?
Mm.
And I said, I think no. And I know why you would think that, but I just don't think she has any, like, she doesn't have any bounce. She doesn't have any vibrance, and she's just not very smart.
No, if you, funnily enough, that there's a video we linked to in the doc, which is the aforementioned, the Unpickable Pick Me video, which is an hour and a half long. I've made it about an hour in. And the previous videos of her, like pre-grift, for want of a better word, she has the same like low personality, low energy approach.
Yeah. I mean, well, like, she's a snoozer.
She is a real snooze fest.
But my thing is like, Tiff, is it that easy?
To
Like,
grift?
do you just have to say the wrong thing over and over again? And like you're made in the shade somewhat, because she's made a decent amount of money doing this.
Right. I also think, though, the more intoxicating thing beyond money is the attention. And there's a clip in that little documentary, which is a clip from one of her old videos where she's driving around and she talks about how low her self esteem has always been.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the most true thing I think that's ever come out of her mouth. And it is the most revealing insight into why Pearl is the way that she is. Everything, the way that she feels about herself, she projects and maps onto all women. And when she started consuming manosphere content, all it did was reflect back to her the reality that she believed and felt known, which was that she wasn't really worth anything. And that all women aren't really particularly worth anything. And I think like the grift, yes, it is financial, but her family has always been pretty wealthy, so she's not like pulling herself out of like extreme poverty through the grift. In some ways I would have some degree of respect for her being astute enough to do that and make the money. I think the grift for her is like the attention that she gets, whether it's positive or negative, is like some form of validation that fills this black hole that she has instead of any self-esteem.
That's why, like, I cried for her, like, one day, like, because I just, like, was like, you like, when she said that, women don't decide to get married, men decide who they marry, like, men
Mm,
decide who to marry, and it's like, I'm like, "Oh, she's, like, literally just waiting for some guy to be like, yeah, like, I'll do it."
yeah,
Like, she thinks that that's, like, like, her idea of where she stands in this world is so inactive, and that's so sad. Like,
yeah.
it's devastatingly sad, and, like, I don't like, let's just be real about what it is. It's that Pearl does have a lot of things that I think a lot of us listening to this show, like, a lot of us, like, I'll claim some of these traits myself, like, whatever. Pearl has some traits that are difficult to grapple with when you're growing up, right? Like,
Hmm.
she is tall, she's got broad shoulders, she is a redhead, she is a tomboy.
She didn't have great skin as well. Like some of those early videos, you can see that she had quite significant like marks from acne on her cheeks.
Yes, and, like, she was never taught to like, she's never eased into style, like, it wasn't obviously, like, something like that, especially in some like, households, like, that can't come to you so naturally, but, like, she has never eased into feeling good in her clothes,
Hmm.
it feels like, and there's just there's something about it where it's like, "Yes, Pearl, like, this is the anxiety of the female experience." Like, everyone feels this own but, like, it's different when you're a girl. It just is, it's different. Like, everyone just expects you to be a little bit better, right?
Hmm.
And I think that Pearl just didn't get to the point of her life where she was like, "Yeah, I could be a little bit better, but, like, I still am fucking awesome." Like, she's really accepted her haters' version of her.
Hmm.
Like, and that's what makes me so sad. It's like if someone just decided to go with what their high school bully said and then keep it safe for the rest of their life because of it.
Right.
Yeah. She's fucking broken, dude. But like, do you see any sort of image rehab for her? Like, just even within her own social life, like internet aside, like how do you think someone like this who has sort of really like gotten their name wrapped up with some really bad people, like Nick Fuentes,
Mm.
like, alienating a lot of her co-hosts on the show in the UK that she does on her network because she worked with Nick Fuentes, and,
Hmm.
like, the network is, like, I think largely made up of Black men,
Hmm.
and, like, they were very uncomfortable that Pearl had a Nazi on the show. What does this look like for her? If she ever wanted to undo this, if she ever wanted to bounce back, like, how far do you think she could get back to normal from here?
I truly wonder what would happen to Pearl if she found herself in a fulfilling relationship. How much of this bullshit would carry on for, like if it no longer served and worked for her? what her life might look like, because she just very clearly seems to only want to have a boyfriend. And then, despite her saying that she doesn't believe in marriage, I think if Pearl could be married and have babies, like that would feel like success to her. And she would probably stop her anti-marriage grift. The reason she's anti-marriage grifting is because she has no prospects of marriage, and I think she has this very outdated idea that like marriage means like you've won. It's like it's giving Muriel's wedding, really truly. It's giving like that vibe.
Well, she's trying to do like the reverse psychology thing a little bit,
I think
right?
so. Yeah.
Where she's like, she kept posting like, just so you know, my parents have been married for like 35 years and have 10 kids. And I like wrote to her and I was like, that's not an inherited quality.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't like you being from a family, especially with 10 kids. Like, do you know how many people have 10 kids and like literally none of them have kids
Mm-hmm.
because like they grew up like that? Like, it's like, I don't know. Like, I want Pearl to like get help, but like, there's no way she's going to find a therapist who's like going to level with her.
Right.
Like, what are the odds of that?
I think if she could like I think if she could find somebody, get a little bit of help, and then like trad wife it for a while, then she might be able to find a pathway back to some form of like happiness and normalcy. I don't think that she's happy. She doesn't read to me as a human being that's like in any way happy. She seems ill at ease with every aspect of herself.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's like it's weird because like I don't like her, but I feel very bad for her, which is like rare.
Mm,
Like with Bethany Frankel, no bones about it. I don't particularly like her right now. She's on my shit list and I don't feel bad for her because she has everything she could want, but like Pearl seems to just want this one very simple thing and can't quite wrap her arms and legs around it.
hmm